Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you are watching Remstar Says So. I'd like to thank all of my subscribers for coming back, all of my long term listeners for continuing to listen, supporting the channel and liking. And I'd like to extend an invitation to anybody who listens regularly or anybody who's new to the channel to hit subscribe, press that bell icon, and leave some comments so we can have some very sort of mature boxing conversations. Remstar Says So is a boxing channel where I give my opinions. I'm not one of them channels that chases around boxers and promoters and commentators and pundits just for interviews and views. I'm not going to do that because I feel like a lot of the people that do that end up kissing ass. They start losing a bit of themselves. All I'm doing is I'm delivering a boxing podcast, and I'm giving my audience an opportunity to, get involved. There's going to be things that I don't agree with that some people will put in the comments, and there's going to be things that I say that you don't agree with. If we can all sort of get along in a mature conversation, and be very respectful, that's fine. I love discussing boxing. That's the reason why I've made this channel. But let's get into the nitty gritty. Today's video is about Amir King Khan going over to America to fight Terrance Crawford for the WBO Welterweight Championship. Amir Khan, everybody knows about him. He's a great British boxer. He's a former world champion, and he's achieved a lot in the boxing ring. He's fought possibly all the biggest names that he possibly could have. And in my opinion, I don't think that Amir Khan has ever backed off of a fight. And that might be his, maybe his dismay. Maybe he's a little bit too sort of brave for his own boots. Amir Khan is a 2004 silver medalist at lightweight, and he also won gold at the Junior Olympics, and he won gold at the European Student Championships. Amir Khan comes with a great sort of amateur boxing pedigree, um, and all in all, like, he's a solid fighter. I think the issue with Amir Khan that I've had over the years is that I think whenever Amir Khan has stepped up to that ultimate level, um, I think he's just got his head torn in. If you remember Amir Khan, he went on the best part of a 2 year hiatus after getting his ass handed to him by Canelo Alvarez in a fight that I really just think he didn't need to take. I understand that Canelo was offering him a career high purse, but sometimes in life you've just got to think to yourself, is this worth it? There's been a lot of criticism of Amir Khan recently because I think the great British public, a lot of people wanted to see Amir Khan go and fight Kell Brook and finally put an end to this rivalry. But Amir Khan has chosen to go and fight Terrance Crawford for the WBO title. Me personally, I don't blame Amir Khan. The money's great. From what I've been told, he's getting $4 million guaranteed on his purse, plus whatever his split of the upside of pay-per-views and ticket sales, and so on and so forth. Fighting Kell Brook wasn't really going to do him anything. It wasn't putting him in any sort of contention. It was just a rivalry. Like, it might have done well, it might not. One thing that we do know is that Amir Khan versus Kell Brook, I mean, Amir Khan versus Terrance Crawford, is going to be pay-per-view at least in the United States. Bob Arum has put this on ESPN pay-per-view, um, and I think it will do. I don't really know on the numbers. I don't really follow American pay-per-views too tough, simply because I only watch a handful of American boxing fights live just because the time difference is so great. But I don't know. What are we looking at? 200,000 plus? 300,000? I don't really know. Like Terrance Crawford, he was a junior welterweight undisputed champion. He stepped up to the welterweight division. He knocked out Jeff Horn emphatically in his first fight at welterweight to win that WBO title. Um, in a fight that some people was saying that he might have been sort of not ready for, too small, all that sort of thing. After he knocked out Jeff Horn, he then went on to defend and knock out Jose Benavidez. Um, that was back in October of 2018. And he's just really stayed busy, actually. The Horn fight, the Benavidez fight, And now he's going for Amir Khan. I know there's been a lot of bad blood recently between the likes of Terrance Crawford and Errol Spence. Both fighters sort of send in for each other, send in shots, talking about this, talking about that, talking about fighting, unification, so on and so forth. But I don't think that fight's going to happen anytime soon. I mean, Terrance Crawford is an ESPN fighter, and you know, uh, Spence is a Showtime slash Fox Sports fighter. But when the money's right, things can happen. I mean, we've seen unifications of fighters on different networks. We saw Mayweather Pacquiao, and it's worked before. But back to the nature in hand. This is Amir Khan versus Terrance Crawford. What do I think is going to happen? Well, I think Amir Khan will start well. Amir Khan has got lightning fast hand speed. He might have some of the quickest hands I've ever seen in a boxing ring. He's got good footwork, and he's got half decent head movement. I think the issues with Amir Khan that sort of set in is that he's got a glass chin. I'm not even going to beat around the bush. Anytime Amir Khan gets hit on the chin, it's basically game over. Amir Khan is the sort of person that he'll probably be winning any fight he's in because he's a very good boxer. But once he gets chinned, it's usually curtains. The Canelo Alvarez fight, that is definitely one where on my scorecard and pretty much most people's, you had Amir Khan up. But once he got hit on the chin, night night. Similar to the Danny Garcia fight. Um, and I think the only fight where he really went the distance, where he lost and it didn't look that bad, was the Lamont Peterson fight. I think it's a good thing that Amir Khan is fighting in America, and Eddie Hearn didn't try and do a purse bid on this one, because I think the American market know more about Amir Khan than the sort of British ones. And the major reason why is because Amir Khan, he sort of took himself out of the UK many years ago and sort of posted himself up. Like, if you look at Amir Khan, like, he fought Paul McCloskey in April 2011, and then he had a couple of fights on the bounce in America. He then went back to the UK to fight Julio Diaz, and then he fought in America exclusively after the Diaz fight. um, until he came back to the UK and sort of signed with Matchroom. But that was a lot of fights. That was from 2013 to 2016. So for 3 years, it was only fighting in the UK, in the USA. When he went in the jungle on that I'm a Celebrity BS, he then decided he wasn't finished with boxing, and he sort of got himself fit again and signed a free fight promotional deal with Matchroom. And I think when Eddie Hearn first signed him up, Eddie Hearn was like, all right, then we're going to give you two sort of pushover fights, and then we're going to go for the Kell Brook fight. And Amir Khan has basically put two middle fingers up to Eddie Hearn, and basically told Eddie Hearn to kiss his ass, because you know this contract is over now, and he's going to fight Terrance Crawford. The thing about Amir Khan is that Amir Khan is a very smart man. Everybody knows that if Amir Khan, or shall I say not if, when Amir Khan loses to Terrance Crawford, the Kell Brook fight's still going to be there. But on the other hand, had he had fought in Kell Brook and lost, which most people think he will and would have done, I don't think he gets that title opportunity against Crawford. So I think Amir Khan's playing it smart this way, because you get two big fights, you get two paydays, and then I reckon he's probably going to lose both the fights, and then he can sort of maybe look at cashing out, retiring, sort of doing whatever he wants. Like, I think Amir Khan is probably financially stable. I don't think he's ever going to have to worry about buying a pint of milk or a loaf of bread. He's only 32 years old. I'd like to see him take this loss to Crawford, and then go and take the loss to Brook, and then that would be the end of it. But let's say, for example, if he loses to Crawford and somehow beats Brook, all of a sudden now you might see Amir Khan in a couple more big fights. But I think when our boxers come to the end of their tether and they don't really have anything left to offer, I think you should always look at getting out the game while you've still got a bit of pride and respect. Because Amir Khan, he'll get snapped up for punditry, for commentary, columns in newspapers. Why are you going to keep getting punched in the face? Like, my take on Amir Khan is he's a great fighter, but if you haven't got a chin, you're fucked. In a boxing ring, like, if you can't take a punch, you're not going anywhere because everybody gets hit. Even Mayweather got hit. And no matter what Mayweather tries to call himself, Pretty Boy Floyd, everybody gets hit. Um, Terrance Crawford, what can I say? I don't really see any chinks in his armor. He's good going forward. He's good defensively. I think Terrance Crawford is a switcher as well. To maybe some of you casual fans who might not know what that is, a switcher is somebody who can fight in the orthodox stance and also in a southpaw stance, whereas you're punching with your power hand with your left hand instead of your power hand right hand. Um, every time I've seen Crawford get in the ring, I've just been amazed. To be fair, I'm not going to pretend like I've been supporting Terrance Crawford from the get-go. I think the first time I ever saw Terrance Crawford fight was when he fought Victor Postal, um, and he retained the WBO light welterweight championship. And then I don't think I watched his two fights between Molina and Diaz. And then I saw him win the undisputed championship against when he won the undisputed championship against Julius Ndongo, and I picked him, and he stuffed him emphatically within 3 rounds, and I was like, whoa. After that, Terrance Crawford, he done what everybody expected him to do, and he sort of relinquished those light welterweight championship belts and went up to welterweight, and now he's sort of campaigning. If he beats Amir Khan, that's another good name on his record, CV, resume, depending on if you're American or English, however you want to put it. And then what he'll do is he'll continue to campaign. The issue that Terrance Crawford will face, in my opinion, going forwards is that he's a welterweight fighting under top rank. And when you look at the welterweights, most of the good ones, they're all sort of campaigning over with PBC. You look at the likes of Pacquiao, Sean Porter, Lamont Peterson, Keith Thurman, Errol Spence. But, I'm sure Eddie Hearn will have a few more welterweights that he can sort of sacrifice, because we all know that Eddie Hearn loves to sacrifice a fighter whenever he possibly can. Please let me know your thoughts on this one. Do you think that King Khan has a chance of coming back to the UK with the belt in hand, or is he just going to be another pushover in Terrance Crawford's CV? Do you think that Crawford's going to struggle? Just let me know your thoughts. Personally, I think it could be a close one, but once Khan gets chinned, I think it's curtains. Hit like, hit subscribe, press that bell icon. You're watching Remstar Says So. Thank you.